Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Every Day is Saturday. I'm Matt Stahl, along with my partner, Brad Gatto. And today we are holding our second annual, we just said this recently, our second annual vision session for 2023.
Boom.
Boom. Can you believe it's 2020? We've already been through this.
Rinse and repeat.
Last year, we chose to do a review and then we set out some goals. So we're going to hold ourselves accountable and kind of hold our feet to the fire to see how we did.
Yeah, it's good to set goals. It's even better if you check in on them.
That's right.
Accountability.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And as we were prepping for this, I think both of us realized that we didn't hit every goal, but doesn't mean you don't set goals and you don't do it again. So here we go. Now that we're going to review goals from last year, but we're going to set new goals for this year.
That's right. And for those of you that joined us, or if you did not, the format we're going to look at for this is we have an internal goal, we have an external goal, and then a personal goal. What I mean for that is internal goal is we have our Fiat family that consists of our team here that serves our families. External is anything that would affect those families that we serve.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense? Personal.
What's personal mean, Matt?
Personal is, I hope you can figure out from the statement what personal means. So not exactly related to the business, but just some other personal goal.
All right.
So ready to rock?
I am ready.
All right. I'm going to put you in the hot seat to start. And it's not too much pressure, but let's start with internal. You okay with that?
Okay, fine.
All right. So your internal goal when we did this for 2022 was to create more internal structure to love on clients. Nice job. You know what you did? You snuck the external into the internal goal.
What are you talking about?
I think that's more focused on what we're delivering to clients.
Well, first of all, you didn't call me out on this last year, so too late.
I know.
It's
reflected, but that should be a good thing. You should be proud of that.
Second of all,
wow.
Internal affects external.
That's true.
So I had to create it internally so that eventually it could be an external thing. See what I did there?
So the consistent theme that we see come up when we talk about challenges is systems and processes and
oh boy.
And
oh my.
Yeah, there nice. There we go. So that was your internal goal, was to create further structures so we could love on clients.
Yeah.
And that can mean different things to different people. For us in particular, I would say that we did achieve that through one.
Well, this is my goal.
Method that we put in place.
You get your own goals.
So let me talk further about
Stop
Brad's
stomping
goals.
on my goal.
I'm going to say, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Last year, this time, I felt like really good problem to have, but we had grown a ton. And in the face of that, I felt like we needed to update some of the systems of taking care of the families that we already served.
Right.
And be more systematized around it so that we didn't drop the ball. Right. I mean, that's really what it came down to. And so I would say we accomplished the goal as it was set out, was to create systems. We're not done yet.
Right.
It's an in progress goal. Our first
really done?
No. I was just talking to somebody about this, about how, it was my buddy Derek, about how when you sign up to be an entrepreneur, like there's certain things that from the outside look super like glamorous and glorious and like all these things. And then you get in it and it's like, there's certain parts of that W-2 job that are just awesome. Because when you're not working, you're not working.
Right. That
is not ever the case for us, which is fine. I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. So don't take it the wrong way. But bottom line is it's not done, but we created a client service structure, and a lot of the families we work with should be familiar with this because we just went through it, where we've got a lot of systems around the end of the year, client service visit, and then we'll have that again coming up in May. And so we've kind of created this cadence, if you will, where in November and May, we've got a set agenda for each one of these visits. Now, it doesn't mean that clients can only visit with us at these 2 times. It's just at a minimum, we want to visit with clients during these 2 seasons of the year. And so we did put a ton of time, energy, and effort into this. And although we haven't hit the May version of this because it's not May 2023 yet, I feel very good about what we did get accomplished in 2022 as it relates to my goal of creating a structure to love on the families.
Love it.
Your goal, I'm not going to make fun of yours. I'm just going to tell you what it was.
I wasn't making fun of it.
Your goal was to hand off the numbers, which is a really fancy, or actually a very simple way to say you didn't want to be the CFO anymore.
That was part of it. That was also the tracking side of things. Like
Yeah.
we kind of, well, most people run a data company, and yeah, so that's that. When I said that, that's kind of it. It involved that and the financial side of things.
And did you do it?
I think I knocked that one out of the park. So, if you have not
Nailed it.
if you have not listened to our podcast or you've not listened to any of our communication, you should know that I am not an owner of Fiat Wealth Management any longer. I do help out with certain functions.
You went the extreme route. How do I not do the numbers anymore? I don't want to own the company.
I guess I accomplished that one.
Yeah, you just grand slam right out of the park.
Well, I just re-listened to our podcast from last time around, and I had made reference to the fact that I was an engineer. I mean, by trade, that was my background. And you made a comment that said, "I don't know anyone that met you that would assume
Not
that
one
was
person."
you." So
I actually, okay, I was in my head, I was trying to, if I'm going to say this, I'm going to say it. I think you'd be more likely to be picked as an engineer than as a financial advisor, though.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
So like, yeah, if it was like the dating game and you're sitting, you were the bachelor number 3. And she had to pick if you're an engineer or financial, but she picked engineer. So you are more likely to do that.
I would agree with that.
Let's move on to external. What did we do last year? What did I do last year?
External. You didn't make up the word. You heard it somewhere else, and I probably ripped on you when you said this, but you said to make more snackable content.
Well, yeah.
What does snackable content mean, Brett?
It's not the Lord of the Rings. I don't need to commit hours and hours to engage here. Just, we love bite-sized things. Social media is bite-sized everything, right? It's just the scroll. You can that's why it's called the scroll. You're only scrolling because what you just saw doesn't take very long to see. So you can kind of continually go. So basically it was just a comment to continue to create education and ways to engage with our firm. So that said, we did add video to the podcast.
Yep.
So you could make an argument that this is pretty snackable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we're not a 30-second commercial.
Right.
But we're definitely not a full-length feature film either.
Yeah.
So
it's 2.5 hours.
Yep. And then we did add a weekly blog. So we do have a blog coming out, well, by definition, every week. I don't know if you picked up on that. It's a weekly blog. And so we did continue to work towards this. But again, I wouldn't say we're done.
No. I
still have more ideas in my head of things I'd like to do to continue to educate the families we work with.
But took a step forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Progress. Okay. Yours was take one step for mankind. Take one step towards the family office. What in the world does that mean, Matt?
Rewind real quick. So we had this quick conversation last time where you kept putting the screws to me because I said, I love vision. I love the ethereal nature of it, creating this and that.
I love LAMP.
And you kept pushing and said, like, what is it? What's the measurable thing? What is it? And so family office, just a quick refresher, family office, if a very wealthy family, that had a legacy and had $50 million that they're managing.
More in the Twin Cities. Let's just say it's the Pillsbury family.
There you go. So they're going to have one office that's going to handle every function that has to do with their financial life.
Yeah. They basically have a CFO.
Yeah. Investments, estate planning, taxes, and it's all integrated. So
personal life ran like a business.
That's right. And that was always a vision that was set out there that I thought it would be great to strive for. Although most of our clients are not worth that much, not $50 million
financially.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Let me rephrase that. Although most of our families do not meet the financial requirements to have their own personal.
I hope nobody's podcast cut out right then.
To have their own personalized family office. I always thought we could actually strive to provide that, that level of experience. So Brad kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And I finally landed on one step closer to providing that family office experience. And the one thing I did point out was to have an internal CPA would be a great first step. That's part of the Fiat team. So how would you grade that? Actually,
I mean, we almost last year stood up an entire separate LLC called Fiat Tax. And eventually I think that's going to happen still. It got backburnered a little bit because of a couple of other tiny little things we had going on in 2022.
Tiny.
But we do have more strategic partners than we did last year as far as CPAs are concerned, and are working more closely with them now than we were, and in a more meaningful way for the families we work with. So I would say it probably wasn't the spirit of what we thought, but we definitely moved in that direction.
Took a step forward. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. What we also did was a personal. And so I'm going to read, you actually gave 3 personal things. One of them was to run a half marathon. You told the story about how you were in a half marathon. Guess how that turned out.
I didn't do it. I didn't even come close. I didn't even run a 5K.
But you had 2 other ones.
I did run last year, just not any races.
There you go. So cumulatively, you ran a half marathon.
I probably put not a lot, probably 200-300 miles on my treadmill all year long, but I did run.
There you go.
So I did not get that one. What were the other 2?
The other 2 goals were to be more intentional about one-on-one time with your lovely wife, Christy.
Ebb and flow. So I think there's times throughout last year where I was pretty good at that, and other times that I was less good.
I should have made you measure that more specifically.
Like if we were going to say like a date night once a week, that would be 52 dates in the year. I probably I probably got enough because it's 50% enough. Shoot. Here I thought going into this.
Yeah, I'm going to get a B.
I was like, I got 2 yeses and a no, but better than last year.
There you go.
Last year is defined by 2021.
Yes. And your last goal was to go to car shows as a family. It was to create a kind of a tradition.
Yes. I love cars.
Lamp.
I love Lamp. Yeah. I love cars a lot. And I have a classic car, and I wanted to create. Now, this was a specific goal. I'm going to broaden this out just a little bit because I want to be I want to create traditions with my family, specifically with my boys.
Yep.
And so car shows was one of them. Another one was Hawkeye games. So we did go to a Hawkeye game last year and try to make this tradition. And that's going to be I'm getting there for 2023.
Yeah.
But we did. We only made it. Well, we made it to 2, actually. Only one of them did I enter my car in. We went to 2. One of them I entered my car. That one was at the state fairgrounds. It was massive. There were probably 8,000 cars there.
Oh my gosh.
It was a ton of fun.
Was it like something you win that, or you just?
You know what? I don't even know.
Okay.
I don't know if you can win that.
Get a participation ribbon?
I did not even get that. I paid to be there. That's what it was. Now that I think about it, what a ripoff. No, it was a ton of fun. It was we snuck it in. It was the weekend of my son's state baseball tournament. And so we were going back and forth between state baseball games and this car show, but it was a ton of fun.
Cool.
All right. Your personal goal for 2022.
It wasn't, I don't really love it. Like, it wasn't very good.
I don't either.
You have these very specific.
Well, did you learn this in college? Your goals are supposed to be SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely.
I think you edited it out. I think you might have edited out my section.
Yeah. Okay.
Last day.
That's cute. Blaming other people for your personal problems. All right. Speaking of that, your personal goals, personal boundaries. Take it away, Matt.
I don't know. I don't know that. Number one, I don't think it's very measurable. So
do you have more boundaries?
No, I think I have less.
I did better on my personal goals than you.
Did, yeah.
Okay. Well, this year we're going to make you set a better personal goal.
All right.
Than personal boundaries.
Okay.
I will give you some credit. You are better at setting boundaries than most, but I also don't think that's a negative thing. I think I've said this on this podcast before. I say it all the time, just in general, is you can't have any true freedoms in life without boundaries.
Right.
And I think we live in a culture where it's like frowned upon to have boundaries in a lot of ways. Like You're supposed to be in for all things, do all things, kind of deal. And so you're good at it. You just can't measure it because you made a bad goal.
Right. I agree on that one.
Hey, but here we are back for round 2 and we get to improve. Maybe that should be your personal goal, to be able to figure out how to make better goals.
There we go. I think I have a better one already. Well, I don't know. Now that I look at it, you're going to help me.
All right, straight transition. So that was recap of goals last year, internal, external, personal, how we did. And for the most part, I think overall we did pretty well.
Yeah.
Especially since we didn't check in on it at all.
I know.
Until right now.
It was a big refresher when I went back and listened to this.
I had to remember what my goals were. They must have locked in my head somewhere because I feel like they were all very, top of mind subconsciously. 2023, Matt, what is your internal goal for 2023?
So my internal goal, you're going to help me to refine this a little bit more, but we hosted a retreat with our advisors toward the end of the year last year.
Good.
I hosted that and ran the curriculum for that.
Crushed it.
I really enjoyed it. I think everyone else did. I had a blast, and
It was very weird.
so it was very
Good way.
weird in a good way. And I think it's going to help everyone to move forward more. What I would like to do is create more structure around that. So number one, I feel like I've already moved on that a bit because it's going to take some of the work that we did within there and then help our internal team to move forward on those things that they said was most important to them. So what I would love to do though is to find a way to extend that to the remainder of the team, number one, and also to create a more regular cadence with that as opposed to just once a year.
So your very specific goal for 2023 is to create the structure from a time perspective of how often these offsites or retreats are going to happen, and then the structure of what's going to happen during them. So by the time we do version 3 of this next year, to achieve your goal, the calendar for this and the cadence of it and the agenda of it is going to be built out.
Yes.
What do you think about the idea of doing it, like offering something like that to the families we work with?
That was actually, you're skipping ahead.
Ooh,
Yeah.
shoot. Okay.
How about you? Internal.
Internal is to finish what we start with is client service. That's number 1. And I think we've got work to do before May comes, kind of like second wave of the year. And so that's number 1. And then the second one would be to find a strategic partner for both our kind of CIO duties or chief investment officer duties, and then also trade desk duties. One of the things that tons of positives come out of being our own RIA and not being underneath somebody else's RIA. Some of the challenges that come out of that are some of the day-to-day kind of not behind the scenes, but they are, I think of them as more mundane, but they're really important things like trading accounts and making sure we do this in a timely manner, that the client is always getting exactly what they expect they should be getting. And then at the end of the day, partnering with people that are just smarter than you and I. We've admitted in this podcast multiple times and never professed to be, super bright, intelligent investment minds, right? Our job as the general contractor of our clients' kind of financial life is to make sure that we have partners in these areas. And so now that we're our own RIA, I want to continue to work on finding strategic partners. We already have some, right? But to grow in that area and find a more purposeful kind of CIO, as well as kind of a more robust trading desk for our firm as we grow.
That doesn't sound very
super boring. Hit the boring button. Where's the boring button? All right. External, Matt, what is your external goal? Again, as defined by a goal that is going to directly affect the families we serve.
You kind of alluded to it earlier, but I think part of the experience where you and I are very familiar with what behavioral finance means.
Yep.
And I think as part of refining our process over these years, that's something that we've integrated, but we really haven't put our finger on it and called it out.
Yep.
Right. So I think that some people that might kind of put off some people that aren't interested in that, but I think almost everyone can benefit from it. So part of it is just figuring out how to formalize actually providing that as part of our service model and which takes me to the next step. Some of those things that we did at the retreat, I think would be beneficial to our clients as well, even if it doesn't involve talking about Roth IRA conversions or required minimum distributions or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's more, money's an emotional thing, right?
Yep.
And if you figured out how to take all the emotion out of it, then congratulations. But
You are not human.
You are not human. So there's an emotional aptitude that comes along with it that in making those financial decisions that I think is, I know we agree on this, it's just as important, if not more important than the number stuff sometimes. Yep. So that is it. And so it's.
So it is kind of what I've alluded to, the possibility of taking retreat style education format and bringing that to the families we serve.
Yes. So that, and also to be more concrete, because I know you want to be concrete.
Hey, you know what? You made fun of me last year, but now we look a year back, a year later, and you're like, yeah. I don't even know.
So, yeah.
Epic goals you have.
But is to actually call it out in our process and make a reference. I think it's very important in the naming of different things, just the language. So to actually call that out as part of the process when we do bring new families in, just a reference, hey, this is behavioral finance. This is part of it. This is, the emotional side of it, and not just sneaking it in there, because it's kind
behavioral finance track or course that they could go through.
Yes.
Should they want to.
And understand all that, what's going on. So I think we do it now. We kind of sneak it in though. So
very sneaky.
Very sneaky.
Okay. My external goal is to continue to seek out the stories of the families we work with that are living what we consider this everyday Saturday lifestyle, and to share their stories. We did it a couple of times last year through the podcast format, but I think we could be even more intentional about seeking these people out, not just through podcast format, but blog, just any way that we can. I just think it's important for, people to not only anecdotally hear stories about how other people are living lives similar to what they're trying to do, but also hear real stories of people doing just that. So it's important to me to take the families that we work with and share what they're doing, because there's a lot of stuff that they do day to day that I think is kind of hero level stuff. And I just think it's fun to share.
Yeah. Love it. Awesome. Personal.
I go first on this one?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. All right. So I wrote down 3 things. Coach a boys baseball team this summer. I've been doing that every year, but as they get older, it becomes harder and harder just because I'm not that good. So they tend to age out, but I had a lot of fun doing it last summer and want to make sure that I am intentional about making the time to do that again this summer. So that's number 1. Number 2 is read 12 books, 1 a month. That's my goal. And so we'll check in on that. It's very specific. Number 3 is to not gain weight.
Oh. It's not to lose weight. It's just to not.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to, I'm not, I don't want to like call myself fat or do anything like that. It's fine. I'm in my 40s now, and I look at food and I gain weight. I don't even know how that happens, like by osmosis or something. So
what if you gain muscle though?
That's fine, because I have fat to lose. And so they can offset. I'm not trying to be a, musclehead type person. I just want to be healthy. Be healthy. And so I think I can define that very simply by, if I just don't gain weight, then I'm doing something to be healthy. Because if I do nothing, I will gain weight.
Mm-hmm.
That's my body type. So that to me is a very simple way to say, just stay healthy, work out, eat okay, or good. Well, come on.
Okay.
Ice cream is a category of food. So
there's like healthy versions of ice cream.
I have it in my freezer right behind where we're recording the podcast. Halo Top ice cream.
And there's even better than that. You have to make it yourself though.
Oh, I'm not doing that. There's no way. I have a lot of other personal goals, but for this particular, those are the 3 that I'm going to go with.
Love it.
Oh, actually, I lied. There's that 4th one, because I told you I was going to continue. I have to bring this up because I told you I was going to continue. So last year was creating these kind of, with the car show, wanting to create traditions with my boys. The other one is the whole Hawkeye game thing, going to a Hawkeye football game. So my wife and I made the very intentional decision to get season tickets so that we could ensure that happened. But the goal from here forward is not just 1 home game, but 1 road game a year.
That's cool.
And to try to hit the different Big Ten stadiums as the Hawkeyes go about their season, 1 a year, 1 away game in the car.
Nice.
No airplane. Yeah. So we got to drive, even if that's to
Penn State.
Well, by 2024, we're going to have USC and UCLA. You're going to have to be driving to California. I don't want that. I want the traditional Big Ten teams. I mean, I'm young enough that Penn State's still traditional to me, because I'm not a baby boomer. And so there was a day that they weren't either, but so they're traditional to me, but Maryland and Rutgers I don't need that in my life. And my oldest is going to be 13 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So I don't have that many seasons left to get one a game. It's going to be, the Michigan State, Nebraska, Wisconsin, then Penn State. Then the second tiers would be like Indiana, Illinois, Purdue. That's it. Then my son's in college and but anyway, that was very long. One away game in the car.
All right. Awesome.
How about Mr. Matt Stahl? Want more personal boundaries this year or what?
No, the theme this year is order.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Last year, personal boundaries. This year, order.
No, I do have something more specific. So when I say order, I mean, you've heard that phrase about how's the phrase go? You're the,
I don't know. You told me I've heard it.
You're the
and then you asked me
the 5 people you spend the most time with, something like that. Right.
Yeah. I think it's 3.
Okay. So
actually,
order. I think there's probably some things that have rubbed
off. Are you trying to tell me you don't want to hang out with me?
No. So I think there's some things that have rubbed off from me to you and vice versa. And if you don't know Brad, order is something that is pretty high on his list of priorities. So it's also high on my list. It just hasn't gotten there. And when I say order, specifically what I mean is from a physical perspective. So I want my garage to be orderly. So I want everything to have its place and it all to be put back in that spot. That's a really simple thing. I also think of order in the respect of calendar. So I'm not great with order when it comes to a calendar. So my tangible thing is to have all of my one-on-one times booked out for the entire year.
Oh, wow.
Have all of our, I'm making progress.
Oh, wow.
Have all of our.
This is big.
It is.
I mean, you texted me today and you said, I just lost track of time. I'll be there soon.
That was 5 minutes.
That was 3 minutes before we were supposed to. So,
I know, but I was in the car. I was almost serious.
Just saying.
So all the one-on-ones booked out ahead of time, all the personal travel at least mapped out.
Okay.
So I know where.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah. One thing that I think I've been good about is being intentional about being mindful of taking those trips, but it's always just like, here's the next quarter.
Yep.
So planning it out ahead of time, I already feel a little bit of peace just starting to do that.
Well, yeah. Then you build it in your budget and you don't have to. Yeah.
Right. So that when I say order, that's what I mean by that.
So when we look back on this, it's going to be, did you get your vacations planned out? Did your calendar get planned out for the year? And did you clean your garage?
Yes. And there's a garage put away. So that is,
of all those things, the thing that makes my heart the warmest is the clean garage.
Yeah, I know. That's why you rubbed off on me.
Oh man. I'm the only one in my house that cares about my garage.
Yeah.
It's the dumping place for everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. All the boxes that aren't broken down.
Yeah, I can't. Even when my son does, like, he just takes his shoes off and they just sit on the floor in the garage and he doesn't put them in the shoe rack. So yep. So I like order.
Yeah, so do I. And it's something that's really important and it's been hard.
Yeah.
Very hard.
But you had too many kids.
We do. Yeah. We have twice the amount of kids running around.
You have 100% more kids than me.
This is true. So that is a general theme. Along that same line, I already did sign up for it. I'm going to do a 99-mile mountain bike race in June.
Oh, gosh. I thought you were going running.
No.
I was like, what the?
Those days are behind me.
Okay.
So, yeah. But 99 miles on a mountain bike.
That's still a long ways, man. Yeah. I've rode 100 miles on a road bike, but I have never. Mom, that's old. You're burning 3 times as many calories.
So it's June 23rd, I believe.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. It's in the calendar. I booked it. I'm actually going to follow a training plan. I'm going to follow a training plan. So,
okay.
Which is very uncharacteristic of me. So
yes, it is. You're normally the show up and do it guy.
That's right. So that's along the.
In fact, hasn't your Ragnar team, isn't you adopted that as like your thing?
It is.
You all run Ragnar and none of you train?
Yeah. Yeah. And actually 2 years ago, I was coming off a certain surgery straight into that. So.
Hey, don't want to fit kid surgery.
That's right. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I think those are good. They're definitely better than personal boundaries.
Yeah.
So I like that. Every year's about being better. than the last at the end of the day. Here's my challenge to all of you, that if you made it to the end of this episode and you listened to all this ridiculousness, do me a favor, send us what your goals are. I want to know for 2023 what your personal goals are. We would love for you to keep us accountable. We want to keep you accountable, because at the end of the day, you get one shot at this thing, right? And we don't know if we even have till the end of this year, but life is a lot more fun lived intentionally. And the whole point of making goals is to be intentional about what you're doing every single day. And so what we do here at Fiat is trying to help the families we work with be intentional about a specific area of their life in that's their money, which is obviously a very large part of your life. But I would just really, really love to know. And so if you would, I would greatly appreciate, you can send us emails at our general inbox, hello@fiatwm.com. You can reach out directly to your advisor, to myself. All of our contact information can be found at our website, fiatwm.com, FIATWM.com, as well as all the other resources that we have available to you for education, entertainment, and everything else. If you have not yet subscribed, if you're new to this and this is the first one you ever listened to, it gets better, I promise.
Let's listen to another one.
That was pretty good. That was fun. Matt, thanks as always. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Don't forget to smash that like button. I like to say that every now and again, because every now and again I listen to my son's YouTube that he listens to. It's not even listening, it's watching.
Yeah.
I sound like such an old guy. Dang it. Anyway, if you've not yet subscribed to our podcast, please do so. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Every Day is Saturday. We will see all of you next Saturday. See you, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Every Day is Saturday. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Fiat Wealth Management. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning.